Hi, it's me, Jeezy of Nazareth, your Lord and Savior, and this is the Jeezy Reader, interviews with indie authors. And today, my special guest is Gerald Dean Rice, the author of The Devil's Gunt. Yay! Hi, my name is Jeezy of Nazareth, and this is the Jeezy Reader with special guest Gerald Dean Rice. Hi, Gerald.
Hey, how you doing, Jeezy?
I'm doing well. Things are wonderful, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you today about your writing and anything else that makes you uncomfortable.
Okay. All right, let's jump into it.
Oh, right. Perfect. Perfect. So let's just start at the very beginning. Do you go by Gerald or Gerald Dean?
Uh, I go by either, even if you want to call me by my middle name, I go by that too.
Okay, well, you're not making this very easy. I guess my main question is, were you named after the Flip Wilson character, Geraldine?
That sounds like something really old. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what that
Oh,
is.
oh, okay. Well, um, Ger- well, we'll just call you Gerald since that's your first name. Or I might switch it up and just refer to you as Dean, like halfway through, and just keep you on your toes.
Hey, cool. Let's keep it hot.
Perfect. So let's go ahead and get started with some basic questions. Gerald, how
Yes.
how old are you, and what is your home address and social security number?
Hmm. I don't know some of that off the top of my head. I'd have to go dig through some paperwork, but I'm
Oh,
pretty sure my name is Gerald Dean Rice. That much I know.
and are you related to Anne Rice?
I like to lie and say I am. I mean, be
I
nice if I
Yeah, I can't
if I
see
could
why
be
anyone.
Chris.
Yeah, I can't see why anybody wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, Christopher's my brother.
That's a that's a nice tattoo you have there. How long did that take? And why would you mark your temple?
Um, so I know how to find it.
Oh,
It's like my address. It's like, putting the address on the outside of the temple. So like, oh yeah, that
that
one is mine.
that
So I
makes
don't mistake it
perfect
for another.
sense. I
Hmm.
should probably allow the Jewish people to get tattoos just based on that answer. But
Yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
nah, it's not really my decision. My dad sort of oversees that demographic. So is that what is that a tattoo of?
Um, just something cool that I liked, and I discussed it with the tattoo artist, and he drew it up on my arm, and then he held me down and forcibly tattooed me.
Oh, how long were you in the chair?
Um, maybe about 6 hours.
Oof.
He said we could break it up into two sessions. I'm like, no, I just want to get it done.
Yeah, once they start, you're like, no, let's just finish this one up all in one go. What are
Hmm.
you drinking, Gerald?
Uh, it's mostly Sprite.
There you go. Is there alcohol mixed in there? Because that was not mostly clear.
I mean, somebody could have come along and put something in it that may or may not have been me. I can neither confirm nor deny.
You have this double speak down like a pro. Is that
Oh yeah.
is that because if the cops stop you, you have to keep it vague?
Yep, exactly.
Understood.
Provide no more
Understood.
information than is absolutely necessary.
Good for you. Let's talk a little bit about your early days. What was it like growing up in wherever insert city state you grew up? Where did you grow up?
Well, I was born in Detroit, and I grew up in a suburb inside of the city of Detroit called Highland Park. And
Oh,
I think you might know some people who are from the Michigan area. I think you might. I've heard.
I know a lot of people. There's a lot like a church on every corner. That much I know.
Church or liquor store, one of the two.
Exactly. Either way, you're going to end up praying by the end of the night.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah. So you grew up in Highland Park,
Yep.
and was it a happy childhood, Gerald? Even though I should have been watching, I probably wasn't doing the best that I could have. I had a lot of things going on.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the 80s had a lot of activity. Um, it was it was a childhood where I had a roof over my head. I can say that. I had someone who was looking out for me. Grew up for the most part with my parents. I grew up with I had a legal guardian. They
Oh,
were around, but I didn't grow up with them for the most part.
were books a big part of your life growing up?
Starting in seventh grade, my mother gave me my first book to read for pleasure. She
Oh,
gave me Stephen King's Eyes of the Dragon. And rather than paying attention to what was going on in class, I was reading, and it was just off to the races from there. I was never interested in what is it, R.L. Stein or V.C.
oh yeah,
Andrews,
yeah, no, no.
any of the initial guys. I never had any interest. Oh wow, there's a dog.
Well, that's going to be weird to edit out in post because that's normally where I put the book covers. So look
Yeah.
for the whole world to see your team. Get off that chair.
Hmm.
Oh,
That looks like a Leo. Is his name Leo?
his name is indeed Leo.
Oh, all right.
Stubborn
I'm
as
pretty good
the
at this.
yeah, stubborn as the day is long.
Sure.
You're ruining my shot. Anyhow, I don't know which direction it is on the camera. It might be over on this side or on that side. I
It's
don't
to
know.
my left.
Well, that doesn't help me. Anyhow, so Stephen King was sort of your entry into the world of fiction. And was that book particularly scary, or was that one more of his like adventure, like
Well, that was more like a fantasy kind of book. I mean, Stephen King,
okay,
no matter what he's writing, has some sort of horror element, and
exactly.
it had some horror elements to it. But the reason my mother gave me that book is because she was a humongous Stephen King fan. She bought every one of his books in hardcover first.
Ooh,
I remember um, one of the first theatrical experiences I had. I remember my mother picked me up from kindergarten with a friend of hers from work, and
mhm.
we went straight to the theater and saw Creepshow.
So oh, that's a little dark for a kindergartner.
Yeah, I loved it though. It was fantastic. Inappropriate in hindsight, but I loved it at the time.
What was your favorite? I was partial to the one the segment with I liked two in particular. I didn't necessarily care for Steven's plant person thing where he turned into a plant, but I did like the crate with Adrian Barbeau,
Yes.
and the one with Ted Danson and Leslie Nielsen, where the
Yeah.
zombies show up. Those were great.
Yep. Yep. I think the crate was my favorite out of that one. And probably I don't remember the name of that one, but the one with Leslie Nielsen and Ted
Yeah.
Danson, that probably was a second for me. The freakiest was the one with the roaches, of course, but
Oh yeah, yeah. That one just
yeah,
oh, I don't even
that was
know
just a gore fest.
why. I don't even know why roaches exist. And you would think if anybody knows, it would be me since I was there when they were created.
Mhm. Yeah, I would
But
like to know what was the intended purpose originally, and did that change?
um, it was basically just to give people a reason to make this noise. So
Yeah, yeah.
otherwise, people don't make that noise otherwise. But yeah, that was the main reason.
Hmm.
I wish it was a
Yeah, yeah. I've done that a fair amount.
I wish it was a more succinct answer, but that yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
So Stephen King, would you say that he unlocked your imagination, or was it a plethora of other authors mixed in there that made you say, "I think I can tell stories"?
It was two authors for me, Stephen King being one, and the other one was F. Paul Wilson. I reading for me went from enjoying a story to, oh, I wish the character would do this instead of that to, oh,
Oh
well,
yeah,
why don't
yeah.
I write a story to do that? And in the late 90s, I got way in. Well, no. Let me back up a little bit. Probably when I was still in high school, my legal guardian, she read all the time. She read John Saul, F. Paul Wilson, and just so many other authors. And we would exchange books. Sometimes she'd read some of mine, sometimes I'd read some of hers. And she had bought, oh boy, not The Keep, but the one that came after The Keep. I think Reprisal. And I think I'd started that book and put it down, and then I wound up
Mhm,
reading it,
mhm.
and then I just kind of dived into them after that, especially after I was out living on my own, and I just devoured the whole Repairman Jack series.
Oh,
And
yeah, that's a lot of books.
oh yeah, it was a whole lot of books. But right around, I want to say 2000, 2001, I started submitting stuff for publication, and I remember I sent something to Cemetery Dance magazine, and I waited 6+ months, and I got a form letter where they just highlighted what was wrong with my story, and it was
Oh,
about it was like original something. I thought it was a novel idea, but apparently it wasn't. And I realized, there's a lot I didn't know that I needed to learn. And so I started not just reading for pleasure, I started reading to see form, to pay attention to how stories were crafted. And, I feel like becoming a writer was a 50-50 mix between learning from authors I enjoyed and
mhm.
formal education.
So, your two biggest inspirations, Stephen King and F. Paul Wilson, two
Yep.
masters of the genres, some could say. With those being your two biggest inspirations, is it shocking to you that you're not better than you are?
You know what? I think there's probably people way better than me who are even less known than I am. So there's a spectrum of, you know, great. I think probably the greatest writer, the greatest artist, probably is somebody that nobody knows.
Exactly. Somebody somewhere is just ready to be the next great. It's not
Yeah,
going to be you, but somebody, and that's important for them.
sure.
So let's talk about when you first started writing. I know that you submitted some short stories. Eventually, that turned into working on a book called The Ghost Toucher.
Yes.
Tell me, walk us a little bit through about if you can remember, because that was a long time ago and you're
Mhm.
getting up there. So the old gray matter might not be what it was, but do you remember writing The Ghost Toucher?
Absolutely. That one came about. I found an anthology I wanted to write for, and it was a word I'd never heard before that just immediately intrigued me. It was supposed to be stories about a psychopomp. I can't remember the psychopomp's name, but psychopomp essentially is um, a god, a figure, whatever he is, that
Mm-hmm.
can ferry the living to the land of the dead, back and forth. That's what a
Oh,
psychopomp is. And I was trying to come up with a story idea, and I tried writing novels before, but I didn't really know how to outline. I'd never learned how. I would just start the story, write myself into a corner, and then abandon whatever it was I was writing because I
oh,
didn't know how to figure my way out of it. But with this story, I had the idea in my mind, and at the time, I was married, and we were trying to sell Amway. I was miserable from end to end doing that. And we went to a conference in Ohio, this place called Kalahari Resort.
oh,
And by then, I had a 2-year old daughter, and my wife at the time said, "I'm not going to participate. I'm just going to enjoy the resort. You go to the meeting." So I was like, "All right, cool. I'm going to go to the meeting." And I had my notebook ready to take notes and everything, sat up front. I'm all set to learn how to be a better salesperson. And then I just decided, like, why?
oh,
And instead of listening to anything that any of the presenters were saying, I spent the next 4 or 5 hours, however long we were there, just writing everything I wanted to happen in this story. And that was how I taught myself to outline. And then I began writing the book by hand from there. It took me about a year. Then I transcribed it. And then I sent it off to two publishers. And the first one I sent it to actually wanted it.
oh. Why
And
did
it's
you
actually
choose? Why did you choose not to? use a traditional publisher.
Yeah, I went with the
Oh, there
small.
it
Oh,
is.
yep. This is it. I still have a couple copies, even though it's not in print anymore. But I was just happy that I sent it to anyone. I didn't really know anything about the industry, so I pretty much went with the first publisher. I didn't, I wasn't really in the loop so far as the kinds of things that I should be looking out
Yeah,
for, the kinds of things that I should not, be a part of. So I was ready to take anything that anybody gave me.
I understand that. It's like dudes marrying the first woman that gives them a little push, uh, a little, you know, the first woman that they have intercourse with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's not the.
Yes,
That's not the.
you don't
Yeah,
have exactly high standards.
exactly. You're just desperate and you want something done immediately. So I hear.
Mm-hmm.
Word on the street is that's how it is. I've never partaken. I have an image to keep.
Yes. I understand. I mean, you got to keep everything pristine and above board. I get you.
So tell us a little bit about the Ghost Toucher, and then we'll go on to more recent things that you've worked on. But the Ghost
Okay.
Toucher was the first book that of yours that I read.
The Ghost Toucher, I had a couple ideas for the story before I settled on the one I wound up writing, but it's to boil it down to its most basic parts. It's uh, Jackass meets the Ghost Whisperer, and it's set in a world where ghosts are real. Everybody knows that they're real. And this guy has the number one television show anywhere where he antagonizes ghosts until they try to kill him. And then one day, this guy vanishes. And of course, the network that he produces his show for wants him found. And so they hire all kinds of detectives who go missing until they decide to contact a detective from the other side who
Oh,
um, who starts searching for him with the help of this employee who's in the complaints department. And they,
it's
along the way,
always
find
the
out,
complaints department, isn't it?
yes. And they find out along the way that they actually have a pre existing relationship with one another that one of them didn't know about.
Perfect. That's a great place to leave it for those who are wanting to pick up a copy of the Ghost Toucher. And is this still in print and available on the Amazon?
It is not. I have the rights back and I haven't put it back out. I'd like to, but I want to update it, because I wrote it in 2009. It was published in 2010. So I want to update it and put it back out. I want to do it in an odd year. I don't want to do it like a 20-year anniversary. I want to do it like maybe a 14-year anniversary, just because that's off. Nobody does a 14-year edition or something like that. I want to do that.
No, they don't. Uh, I have to wait. Um, I have to wait. Um, I think I'm going to do a 3000 anniversary edition of my book, The Holy Bible.
Yeah. See, and you can update it. Put some annotations in there, clarify some things that we obviously are confused about. It'd be
Exactly.
fantastic.
The first, the first thing I'm going to do is retcon all that nonsense that the Mormons put out.
Oh yeah,
Just,
yeah. Just pretend
just
that doesn't
clear that
exist.
up
Yeah,
once and for
just
all.
wipe that on a.
Yeah, I might toss in some science fiction aspects that people aren't expecting, like lizard people.
Hmm?
Just so that thousands of years down the road, when Christianity is still going strong, people are going to be like, "What the f?"
Yeah, it's like yeah, just keep it hot. Keep people on their toes. Like just when they feel like they got it, it's like, oh, I gotta do this other thing now.
Exactly. So more recently, you came out with a long-awaited, probably not from everybody, probably just you, anthology, and the appropriately titled. Go ahead, tell us what it is.
Absolute garbage, total nonsense, and utter ridiculousness.
And it was all of those things, but also in
Hmm?
a good way. In a good way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I enjoyed the story of the guy at the eating contest at the that was just weird. Where were you
Oh,
like?
yeah.
How were you like? I'm gonna have an idea for a story, and it's gonna be about a big man who enters an eating contest and just doesn't stop eating and starts eating everything. Where did it come from?
Hmm. I'm not exactly sure on that one. I think it might have something to do with the fact that, if you kind of think about it, fingers look like hot dogs.
They
And
do.
he ate two of a person's fingers, or like one or two of
Mhm.
her fingers. And I think that was the germ of where the story started. Like, hey, what if this guy just started eating and just never stopped, no matter
Yeah.
what you did? And I think that was a story that, for the most part, pretty much wrote itself. I didn't really have to sit down and think about it a whole lot at all.
Did you sit down and think about anything that you wrote? And
Uh,
should I be doing this? Should have been your first thought.
well, sometimes I sit back and like, why did I write that? What am I going to do with that? It's happened. There's been times where I'm like, maybe I need to go do something else. Maybe I need to pick up the guitar or something. I don't know.
So let's. What was your favorite story? I know it's always hard. It's a real Sophie's choice to pick your your favorite story. But if you had to pick one out of that compilation, that anthology, which one were you like? This is the one that I really wanted people to read.
Boy, maybe the one about I forget the title exactly, but the driving dead one, the one where the officer pulls over the car and it's a corpse behind the wheel. It's like a reality
Oh
where
yeah, I
it,
don't remember.
it
I actually got to that one in the anthology just before I said I can't keep doing this to myself.
that one, it was just I had tried writing that story before, and I think I stopped because I didn't know where to go with it. But sometimes, putting a story down and picking it back up, that break, um, is what you need to clear your mind so far as what do I need to do with this. And that was one of those because I took it in a different direction than what I'd originally started with on that one, and I really enjoyed it. It's like, hey, sometimes you don't know who's behind that wheel, and hey, what if you had a story where the worst possible thing was behind that wheel? It's like this corpse that somehow can drive, not a zombie, but a corpse.
Yeah, that's just a corpse. Nothing really living about it other than it's just driving. I
Hmm.
bet it went through Texas and that's when it died. Probably. That's a
Yeah,
that just seems like something that would happen. Just you enter Texas and you die and you just keep driving and nobody
right.
tells you. Nobody tells you.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
for
as long as you have your insurance intact, no big deal.
so now I kind of want to get to the meat and potatoes.
Okay.
The devil's Gunt.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I mean, I mean, is the title okay? Am I in trouble here? I mean,
Look,
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. Going into it, I was like, what could this book possibly be about? And or I guess it's a novella, a short story. Um,
mhm.
the first scene, the very first thing that happens is it's taking place on a pornographic movie set. And some could say the money shot, let's just say there was enough money to pay off every student loan in America. What the hell is going on?
It was a Mega Millions shot.
It
Uh,
was.
well, that story, the genesis behind that one was, I developed an interest in bizarro. I didn't know what it was,
Bizarro
and
fiction. Yes.
yeah, I didn't really know what it was. I'd never really read any. I realized after the fact that I kind of had written some Bizarro before, but I guess I just wasn't thinking about calling it that. But I asked on, I don't know, Facebook or something, hey, I'm interested in this Bizarro thing. Where should I start? And someone recommended a story called David Bowie is Trying to Kill Me. And I bought it, I read it, I loved it. And it's like, yeah, I would like to write something like this. And the first official Bizarro story I wrote was something called Soup Werewolf. And it was about this guy who was in this soup making contest, this yearly
Mhm.
international soup making contest. And every year he tried to enter, but something would happen. He'd drop it, he'd overcook it, something so to where he couldn't enter. So he finally has the soup that he feels like, hey, this is the one. And as he's going to the venue, he's walking there. He starts to hear people talking about how there's this werewolf going around that's attacking people and not killing them, but devouring their soup. And so he gets to the venue and the venue is overwhelmed with these soup werewolves that are just there to devour everybody's soup. I don't remember the story entirely. It's supposed to be a trilogy, but I've only written the first and second ones. But after I did that, I became a part of this Discord group, and there's this thing every November called NaNoWriMo,
Oh,
and
National Reading Month.
yes, so we wanted to do a bizarro version of that in October, where we would, start a bizarro story and see where we can go from there. So I don't know. I think I just took whatever ridiculous thing I could think of, and I just threw it at the mental wall, and
Well,
that's
that
where
seemed to be the general writing style of bizarro fiction. You just throw a bunch of stuff and see what sticks.
yeah, that's essentially what it was. Is I didn't plot it, I didn't anything. I just sat down and started writing, and by the end of October, I had enough of a story that I wanted to finish it, and I did. I really liked what I came up with, and this was another one where I was extremely lucky. The first publisher I contacted wanted it, and they put it out, and they made the process so enjoyable that I immediately started working on a sequel back in 2020. And
Oh,
they for whatever reason they didn't want it, but I just sat on it until this year.
so did you re-release it? Did you re-release The Devil's Gun yourself?
I did. They had I can't exactly remember, but they had some issues on their end where it didn't get promoted the way it, in my opinion, should have.
Mhm.
So it didn't go anywhere I would have liked for it to have gone. And they gave me my rights back, and I just held on to it until this year. I decided, hey, look, I'm going to put both of these out myself. So I got a new cover for The Devil's Gun because I
It's a
couldn't use
great cover,
theirs.
by the way.
Yeah, I go through this one particular person. Her name is Jessica Ugolini. She's in the Metro Detroit area, and she designs all my covers. She's very great to work with, and she always knows how to tap into what I'm wanting, and she can put what's in here on a screen I can look at and say yes, that. And she's done that for me every time.
We should all be so lucky to have
Hmm.
artists that we can count on like that and have a continuing relationship with.
Hmm.
I guess I wonder if she's worried about AI. She shouldn't be. Her stuff is much better than anything AI could produce.
Yeah, no, she's very creative. I have zero complaints. I love her work.
So in The Devil's Gun, you have this, again, male pornographic film star, and he somehow gets impregnated by a devil, not necessarily the devil, or at least that's what it seemed, because there are multiple devils kind of thing. Anyway, he ends up pregnant, he ends up preggers in the family way, and
Mhm.
um, and for some reason he doesn't really want the baby. Why?
Well, some people might say that it's unnatural for a
Mhm.
naturally born man to be pregnant. And
Yes,
I
some
know
would
for
say that.
me, if I woke up and discovered I was pregnant, I'd be uncomfortable with the notion. And then add to it that, I have a demon spawn growing inside me. I
Exactly.
might want to get rid
And
of that. I might want to get that out of me, especially
and
if
where
I
what hole would that
didn't
baby come
consent.
out of? That's the part that
Exactly.
concerns me the most.
Right. And would my body snap back, or would I just be ruined after that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's a very good question.
Yeah.
Who knows? So then there is a talking head that's found in a refrigerator for no apparent reason. This is suddenly there.
Mhm.
At first. And where did that idea come from? Were you like a pregnant man impregnated by demon seed isn't weird enough. Now let me take it to the next level and have his sort of Sherpa on this journey be a talking head in a box.
I don't remember where. I think they just kind of came organically as I was writing. I don't think I planned it, but I needed to heap as much difficulty upon this person as I possibly could. And that's you're like, hey, talking head in the refrigerator that just might be the victim of your roommate who is a serial killer.
Mhm.
That was appealing.
Well, there you go. So, what is. Oh, let me ask this. What is it like being the only Black working indie author?
Only? I have no awareness that I'm the only. If I am, okay, great. But there's plenty more room in the pool for anyone else who wants to hop in.
like, like one of those inner city pools that have high dives but no water?
Yeah. Well, those kinds of pools, I guess you don't jump in. You just
No,
maybe you bring the barbecue grill or something like that. I don't know.
exactly. I should work on that. I should make it brand long enough to fill up inner city in-ground pools. I'll add
Okay.
that to I'll add that to my checklist of things to do.
Yeah.
So
Do you have a honey to-do list?
it's more of just things that when they pop into my head, I kind of write them down and and then just hope for the best. It is a long list. You know how some people have long TBRs, to be read lists? This list is a long time. So eventually we'll get there. There will be water in those inner city pools. I promise.
Okay. All right. Well, I imagine that's going to come after world peace. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's
can
it's
appreciate that.
it's down the road a ways. It's
Yeah,
got a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit of ways to go. What is next for Gerald Dean Rice?
Well, the end of next month, I have the sequel to The Devil's Gun coming out. It's called A Lowercase Hell,
Oh, I
and
thought it
it
was going to be The Devil's Gun 2 Electric Boogaloo.
no, not Electric Boogaloo. No, it's called A Lowercase Hell. A long time ago, I came to the realization that rather than trying to set my stories in these exotic, far off locations, places where I've never been, I like to set my stories around this area because I don't know that there are a lot of people doing that. And plus, I know this area. I can bring setting into my stories as a character because I can describe things in a way that people who aren't from the area could appreciate because it has a certain liveliness to it by characterizing where the story is taking place. So a lowercase hell is set in a real location. There's this a mental asylum that used to be in the city of Inkster called St. Eloise. The building is still there, and it's Inkster, but there's I forget the name of it. There's like I don't know what you would call it, like a sub city. Wasn't an actual city, and but
Unincorporated or
unincorporated, unofficial, but this hospital is in that area, but it's technically the city of Inkster. But people from the area will call it something else, and I'm just not immediately thinking of what it was. But it picks up immediately after the Devil's Gun, where the main character wakes up in this hospital being treated for a wound he got,
mhm.
and he discovers that well what he thought was supposed to be a life-threatening wound was not that much more than a cut.
Oh,
But the real purpose in him being there is this hospital is hell adjacent. It's not hell. It's in order for you to say if you were damaged in life in some kind of way, in order to appreciate the full effect of actual hell, you have to heal to a certain degree. So you go
okay.
here to mend before you can be forced to endure eternal torture.
So you have to mend before you can descend.
Yes.
Yeah,
Perfect. I wish I'd written that. I wish I'd written that.
Well, I guess not everybody can be as smart and off the cuff as me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got it. I mean,
if you want to use it, I'm technically a non-entity, so you can just steal it.
so everything you say is public domain?
Exactly.
All right,
That's
cool.
why there's so many different versions of the Bible.
Yeah.
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 I don't make any money off of that. Sad.
Yeah. This is
Not
sad, but
not as sad
you
as
get notoriety.
not as sad as whatever's going on over there with that dog.
Yeah.
That's some ennui.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
So is the Devil's Gun going to? Did you say it was going to be a trilogy?
I am piecing together ideas for a third book. Um that will expand upon the events that happen in the sequel. That will expand the lore and bring some things around full circle. You know, there are certain things that didn't get exactly resolved in the Devil's Gun that I also would intend to revisit and flesh out a little bit more.
You know, when it is time to stop, when a series or a story has reached its natural end, and how do we get you there?
How would we get there? I don't know.
No, how do we get you there to where you
How do
stop
oh
writing?
oh you know what? Drop tons and tons of bills on me, you know, and then I'll just swim around
I
in the
will,
money like
I
Scrooge
will
McDuck.
make it rain, Gerald. I will make it rain,
Okay. All right, cool.
and you don't
Bring
even
it.
have to get back on the pole.
No? Okay, cool. Cool. I mean, it's a good workout though.
It is. That's a solid core you have.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You get that internal tone. Yeah.
Have you been working out, Gerald?
No, honestly, I've been running on the treadmill. I hate it, but I'm slowly conditioning myself to like it.
Look, it's better than actual running, where you just end up at the spot you started from, and there's really nothing to show. You just might as well stay there.
Yeah, there's no way to get lost when you're on the treadmill, I found.
Exactly. And if you do, then being on the treadmill is the least of your worries.
This is true. There was one time where I pushed myself. This was years ago. Where I pushed myself to the point where when I was done and I went to the locker to get my stuff, I couldn't remember my locker combination. So I had to just sit there until I could recall it.
That 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 is a nightmare.
It was because I don't know, like, do you go to the front and say, hey, I can't remember my combination or I don't have my key. Can you cut this lock off? I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you do in that
I
situation?
wouldn't. I would just leave, move out of state, and change identities. At
That
that
is
at
an
that point,
option.
it's better than just admitting that you don't remember your combination. I went to the gym one time and I had a block with a key, and I put the key in a little pouch on the front of my tunic here, and I went about and did my exercises. And when I got off, I couldn't find the key. And I looked all over for it. I
Fell
thought, oh my
somewhere.
god, yeah. I thought, oh, it fell into the treadmill and just got sucked off to wherever things go. I think on the treadmill, you would think it would just come back, but it didn't. So I don't know how long that um um little part of the treadmill that moves. The tread?
Uh, the
Yeah.
thread, I guess.
Yeah.
I
I don't
I
whatever
did
happened.
I didn't know this was a feature of treadmills. You said the treadmill sucked you off?
It, well, if that was the case, I would never have gotten off that treadmill. But what ended up happening was the key that I thought I lost hit my little couch and was stuck in my nether bits. Yeah.
Oh,
So
see, you got to update. You it's okay to manscape in today's age. You could do that.
look, that's not something that we did back thousands of years ago.
I mean, but you're not thousands of years ago. Be a modern man now. You know, just like, the ladies like it.
We'll see. All I can say is Judas's bush was there. Like people were tripping over it. Not me, but other people walking by just get caught up in their sandals, and it was bad.
Hmm. You
So
got
what
a
was that?
you got a baby bird in a nest kind of situation
Yeah,
going on.
yeah, it was,
Mm.
and oh, it was earthy. It was just
Earthy.
it's what people would just
Okay. Well,
go.
you know what? Some women like that too. There's a lid for every pot. I thoroughly believe that.
Same. But yes, things seem to be a lot better maintained hygiene wise in this era. I can't wait to see what the next generation or the next era brings in personal hygiene.
Hmm. Yeah.
Anything else coming down the line? Writing. Is there anything else that you were like wanting to dip your toes in?
Written a couple screenplays. I don't know what to do with them. There's this website where I can list them, but outside of that, I don't know what to do with them. But it's something that I'm enjoying doing. It's another media platform that I can experience. And I've written two, outlined a third, and I'm in the process of transcribing that one. And I think I'm getting better because I'm learning more. I got software that kind of formats things for me.
Oh,
So I'm
nice.
enjoying it.
So potentially in the future, we'll be seeing some Gerald Dean Rice on the screen. So
I'd love that.
wouldn't it be
Hey,
awesome to see?
throw me on Tubi or something.
Yeah, I would even do that. I would make movies just for the Tubies. Just to get a,
Hmm.
yeah. It's better than like this the Asylum flicks. Enough with the Sharknado's Asylum. Do some real stuff.
Yeah, yeah. See, there you go. I've reached out to them like, hey, didn't get a response. I guess probably me and 1,000 other people just like me are reaching out to them too.
They take themselves too seriously. I don't even think that they're in on the joke. I think that they think that they are making like high art.
Oh, they think they're making cinema?
Yes, they think they are making cinema.
Uh-huh.
And I just don't think that they have the self-awareness.
No, 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 no. You definitely should have an appreciation for where you are, and maybe they don't.
Right, stay in your lane. Know your lane and stay in it.
Hmm.
It's not like Trauma, who went on to make amazing films like The Toxic Avenger,
Yep.
Rabbit Grannies, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard that the new Toxic Avenger, the studio's having trouble because they wanted a Toxic Avenger movie, and that's what they got, and they were like, "How are we going to market this?" It's like, well,
Yes,
you should
that's
have
what I heard too.
known. You should have known what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, you don't remake The Toxic Avenger and then get shocked when it's got some really weird graphic content going on.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, I would be interested in plumbing their backlist and having some other stuff rebooted. Give me another Nukem High. I'd like to see
Yes,
something like that.
another Kabuki Man or something like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Why limit
You know,
yourself to your major brand?
right. I mean, there's stuff
Trauma.
we could remake. If you want to remake, let's remake the stuff. I want to see that.
The stuff remake would be amazing. That wasn't Trauma, but
No,
amazing.
yeah, I'd love that. That would be fantastic.
It's what the stuff tasted like. It looked so good.
It looked so good. Yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah, I don't care that it was an
Like I would taste a
alien.
little bit. A
Yeah,
little bit. I'd have a little bit.
I would lose my soul to it. It looked like marshmallow fluff. It looked creamy. It looked delicious.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
would,
It
yeah,
looked lightweight. I mean, it was obviously lightweight, from when the little boy was knocking over all the containers in the grocery store. It must be
right.
really light.
Yeah, it was like it was just like whipped cream almost.
Right. It was almost as if those containers were empty. It was so light.
Exactly. And I want my very own chocolate chip Charlie or whatever his name was to
Ah,
come in
yes.
and save the day.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I remember I saw that poster before I knew what the movie was. Like, I have to see this movie because it was just a mouth
Yeah, that
way too wide. And I was
poster.
like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that poster got me to watch it. Remember video stores? Huh,
Yeah. Yes.
what good times getting into
Yes.
fights because somebody grabs the video that you want out of the Dropbox, or it's just anyhow. It was a very frustrating time that kids today don't understand. But that horror
No.
section in the video store, chef's kiss. between all those videos from the 80s and their amazing covers. Oh, I wish those things still existed. Everything is so shiny now.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I remember that I never went in there, but I remember, the smaller ones had the adult areas and you
Oh,
know,
yeah, with the
yeah, I remember seeing those. It's like it was forbidden. And, I was a child. I couldn't go in there, but I remember seeing
I
it.
always wondered what was back there.
Yeah, yeah. Like I
Yeah,
mean,
it
you
was
got
all adults that would just go back there, and then they would come back out, and then I'm just, why weren't we allowed?
Yeah, I have no idea what was in there, but I was always curious. But those places don't exist anymore.
No, kids today will never know what it's like to go into a video store. Everything is streaming.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yep.
see good movies. I'll tell you what I just watched, and I wasn't necessarily a fan of it. This is that Long Legs movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I went in there expecting one thing, and they gave me the old switcheroo and gave me something else.
I I like a movie more when you step back and let Nicolas Cage be 100% Nicolas Cage, and
Right,
we
that's
got
why you hire him.
110%.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Nicholas Cage wasn't the problem. I enjoyed it. He was honestly, he was really only in like 7 minutes of the movie.
And he dominates your memory of the movie. He was just so good.
He was creepy.
hmm
But
That's just like a Color Out of Space. I mean, he was full Nicolas Cage in that movie.
yes, they gave him carte blanche to just run crazy all over that set, and that's what he did. I feel like in Long Legs he sort of did that, but I also felt like they told him to kind of maybe hold it back. Maybe Osgood Perkins was like, "Look, you're doing too much, big guy. You kind of need to dial it back."
Feel like they wanted him to channel Tiny Tim.
Oh, that is exactly what I said. Just
Yeah,
waiting for
it's
him to
like
do the
if he had a little ukulele and
exactly.
started singing "Tiptoe Through the Tulips," it was like, yeah, that fits. That goes.
I love that you know who Tiny Tim is, but you have no idea who Flip Wilson is. I'm beginning to think
Flip.
that you. I'm beginning to.
Is that the guy who had the penis pump? I mean, that's about the extent of what I know.
He was. He was white famous.
Okay. Was oh, he was the guy on the first season of SNL, right? That was
That was not Flip Wilson. You
that's not Flip
racist.
Wilson. He was Martin's boss on Martin at the
That
radio
is not
station.
Flip.
He was
That
Chocolate Chip Charlie.
no, he was not.
That's him, right?
No. If I
Okay.
if I pause this, I'll remember the name. But now, for some reason, I can't remember that actor's name.
Huh.
I know who you're talking about.
I think I might be right on this. I
That's
mean, the
not the.
fact that you can't think of another name just proves my point that I'm probably right.
Well, we're gonna sit here until I can remember his name, and we're not gonna go anywhere.
That was Flip Wilson, right? I mean,
No,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, I mean, it was like it was him, Dan Aykroyd, that woman from Third Rock from the Sun, Chevy
That
Chase.
so far all correct except for it being Flip Wilson.
Hmm, I'm pretty sure I'm right. What didn't he like do some guest visits on the Richard Pryor show? Didn't Richard Pryor have a show too? Wasn't he on that? I mean, I think
I
that's
think
him.
so. Flip Wilson and Richard Pryor did like stuff together, but the one that you're thinking of on SNL and Martin and um and
The
Chocolate
stuff.
Chip, yeah, stuff. That's not Flip Wilson. Flip Wilson was
Right.
like on Laughing. He was on just a lot of stand-up specials. He dressed up as a woman, Geraldine Jones.
Geraldine Jones. I thought I saw I thought I saw Geraldine Jones on SNL. Are you sure?
I'm almost positive.
All right. I mean, see, the fact that you're almost positive leaves room for possibility that maybe I'm right. I mean, come on.
If I
If
find
I'm
this,
here,
if I find this person's name, hey Siri, what was that black guy's name? Hey Siri, what was? Oh, well, this is silly. I don't have Siri. I don't own any Apple products. But I think who you're thinking of is Garrett.
Garrett Morris.
Yes, Garrett
Maybe,
Morris.
maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Did you see the way my dog jumped?
Huh?
Yeah, when I yelled, scared the shit out of my dog.
Yep.
But yeah,
But he seems back to baseline now.
yeah, he's chill. He's chill. Yes, that was you were thinking of Garrett Morris.
Garrett Morris. Okay, if you say so. I mean, this is a long time ago. I mean, I wasn't alive when that SNL came out, so I don't know.
I'm beginning. Look, black might not crack, but I think you're lying.
No, SNL came out in 1975. I wasn't around in 1975 or 74. I don't know,
No,
something
it's
like that.
1975.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't alive then. Oop,
When were you born, Gerald?
1976. At
You're
the
gonna
end of 1976.
you're gonna bust my chops over 1 year?
Well, a year plus. I was almost born in 1977. I was supposed to be born in 1977. I was a preemie.
Oh, because of the heroin?
No, I was a big boy.
Oh,
I was of my father's five children. I was the biggest, so I was just ready to go.
okay. Just you were just like I'm done. I'm the this chicken is roasted. It's time to get out of the oven.
Yep, yep. I was like, yeah,
Oh,
let me go.
I didn't mean chicken because
No.
should have should have should have chosen a different meat. That's what I should have done.
Turkey. Yeah, the
Yeah,
turkey was roasted.
exactly.
Sure. Hey, whatever. I was a big boy. I was ready to go. I was almost 8 pounds.
And you had all 10 fingers, all 10 toes.
Yeah, yeah. I still
Oh,
have them
yeah.
too.
Well, you're supposed to. They kind of stick with you until you die, and then they disintegrate at some point.
hmm You know, I just heard something that was like, you know what, that should have been a part of human evolution, that our teeth should be flaccid until we get hungry and then they get hard. Like that would be kind of cool.
That is disgusting. Also, ableist. Ah, I don't have teeth.
Our teeth.
Yeah, no, they fell out. Dental hygiene was not a thing back in
Yeah.
the day. You would,
I
I
mean, if they were soft, it'd be easier to clean, wouldn't they?
I would think that if you're running up, I don't know how you would clean soft teeth, Gerald.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Just something to think. Look, I'm just giving you notes for, when you do like 2.0,
I'll
maybe think about it.
consider it. That's a very good. That's a very good thing for the human race 2.0.
Or maybe even a third set of teeth. Because come on, we get our second set of teeth when we're not really responsible for them.
You
Give us
are
a
what
third set.
exactly? Or how
Yeah.
about just constantly like you never run out of teeth. There's always a tooth to replace it.
Man, give us like teeth like rats. They just constantly grow and you gotta
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
wear them down.
yeah. At work, you would have like little stones that you can chew on to grind the teeth down. Yeah,
Yeah. Or make everything soluble by saliva or something. So you just like soak it in your mouth long enough, you can eat it.
that sounds gross and unenjoyable for a lot of things.
True. True. I mean, but it would work.
Gerald, what for folks who are just starting their indie author journey, what advice do you have for, well, not even just indie author, anybody who is starting their writing journey? What advice do you have for them?
I would say to anyone who feels like they have a story to tell it. to ignore that voice in your head telling you to stop. Because more than likely what you're writing is better than what you think it is. I have those same bouts where I'll be feeling like this is not very good. Nobody's going to want this, and then I will reread what I wrote. It's like, oh, this is better than I recall it. This makes more sense. I mean, it's not a finished product, but for first draft purposes, it's good. I just listened to one of my books on audio. I had never listened to it on audio before, and I enjoyed because it had been years since I'd read it. I enjoyed it a lot because I'd forgotten so much of it.
I'm not gonna lie, I zoned out. I was looking at my dog. But what a great place to go ahead and wrap up this interview. Did you have any questions for me since I pretty much know everything that's going to happen to you?
You don't want to know anything major because it's like then I would just be obsessed over that and
Exactly.
it's like what's I like to keep it high. I want to be surprised. I don't want to know about the train that's going to wipe me out that I don't see. It's like I'm just not going to see it. I don't want to be worried about every time I get near train tracks. Something like that.
Nobody has ever guessed exactly how they're going to die before. That was
Yes.
uncanny. I won't tell you when.
Okay, I appreciate that. I don't want to know. I'll just try to keep away from the tracks as much as possible. I don't want a final destination kind of thing going on.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Although they do have a new one coming out soon.
Of course they do. Of course. We keep
No
returning to that well.
originality. In a world of no originalities, everybody should go and read something original, like The Devil's Gunt. I can guarantee you there's no other book that's going to have a title like that.
Right, right.
Harold, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. And other lies.
Well, you know what? Same. I appreciated speaking with you as well, and watching your dog just chilling out in the background.
Yeah, I'm probably going to eat him after this.
Yeah, yeah. He looks a little tasty.
He's a little nugget, a little delicious morsel.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, thank you again, and thank you everybody for joining me and Gerald Rice on this episode of the Jeezy Reader. Next week, we will be interviewing an indie author named Patricia L. Miller. So we look forward to that. Thank you, Gerald.
Thank you.